my issue is that at the time I always sat there and I said how good of a platform Facebook was. Right then, gang, welcome to the very first Simscast podcast. I haven't got a name for this yet. I'm hoping one of you guys in the comments can come up with something cool for a name, because I haven't got a sweet clue what we should call this. But I did do a little tweet about this the other day, saying that I wanted to start posting some content again on my YouTube. I will put this on Facebook, but Facebook have demonetized me, which is a lot part of this subject of this whole podcast. But I have started to do podcast. This is something that I wanted to do. I say podcast, it's just me chatting shit and waffling, to be quite honest. I don't really watch streams, if I'm honest, outside of me streaming myself, which might sound a bit weird. I personally don't watch streams, even though I am a streamer. Reason being is that I stream so much myself. I've got 3 children, obviously Molly as well, and the only time I really get to sit and watch stuff on my phone is generally when I'm having a poop or just before I go to sleep. And for the most part, I sit and watch podcasts. You can say about watching a podcast. You're watching it right now. Yeah, so this is something I wanted to start doing. I might also do a few reviews here and there, but I wanted to do something that was completely unrelated to COD. I say unrelated just because there's going to be a lot of these that are going to be about generic crap. If you've got any ideas or subjects, then let me know in the comments again below. But my thought process is just to give you a little bit of context of where my head is. I'm thinking of general subjects. So for example, today I'm going to be talking about Facebook and what's been happening with Facebook through my experiences. But I'm going to do a lot of things about random subjects, like things like what's going on in football, things that I'm passionate about, things that I know that you guys in my chat, I talk about a lot of random crap here and there during my streams. But I think with COD at the moment, and part of the reason why I'm doing this is because with COD at the moment, it's kind of like I'm still going to play COD. That's what I stream. That is, I know I can stream other things, but COD is what I like. That is my passion in terms of a video game. And obviously my core audience is built around that. However, having said that, COD has kind of got to a point now where there's only so much you can kind of talk about with COD itself. And for me personally, I know I've built this around gaming. This is going to be uploaded on my YouTube. So apologies if you're not really interested in my personal life or whatever, but hopefully I've kind of built enough of respect with you guys that you guys are kind of interested in that sort of thing, and what my opinions are, yada yada yada, me as a person. So hopefully that is okay, because I'm going to start posting stuff like this on here. I'm going to maybe do some reviews here and there, but I'm passionate about things like football. I can talk about football easily and just sit here and chat shit with you guys about latest transfers, results, games, etc, etc. So that's going to start coming through. I'm going to do some episodes on that. I can talk about cars. I like cars. I can talk about cars pretty comfortably. I can talk about my experiences through streaming. I can talk about stuff that's happening in the world. I don't want to touch on stuff like in the news that's particularly like, I don't want there to be risk of stuff being confrontational and too out there. So that's not really my forte, but maybe something that's going on that's maybe trending in terms of like, yes, it might be tragic, but hopefully not kind of like confrontational, but in the sense of like things like maybe like the submarine tragedy and things like that happened recently, stuff that we could talk about without it being negative, kind of morbid, but you know what I mean, stuff like that. We could discuss. I've already got an idea for my next one. So my next one, I'm going to talk about what happened with Sneak, the energy company that I was partnered with, but I'll cross on that on the next one. And for today's one, like I said, we're going to stick with Facebook and my streaming experience, where I am now, what's going on, what my plans are, what seems to be happening to a number of people, and how we've been treated. That's going to be the main priority of this. Again, reminder, I would quite like some kind of funky catchy name for this. So if you guys do come up with something, please do let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on this as a series. If you absolutely fucking hate this idea, please do tell me. Like, if you're not interested in me sitting there waffling, tell me. I still will post content in terms of gaming on here as well, but I want to kind of, I just don't have the motivation for it, to be honest. I don't have the motivation. I sit and play ranked, and realistically, Like, I love ranked. I think that shit is so addicting on COD. I really, really love it. But there's only so much you can kind of post with ranked and get views on it. Like, my personal experience, I mean, maybe it's me just being pessimistic and just being over enthusiastic about what I think my skill ceiling is. At some point I'll realise that I'm not fucking Biffle and will just post shit. But at the same time, if I'm just sitting there and playing ranked, pubs for me at the moment has just been ruined by how good I think ranked is compared to pubs. But in order for a ranked video to get views, it would need to be something extraordinary, and I'm not top 250. I want to grind that next season, but you know what I mean. Like, the views, it's not there. Stuff like this that I'm passionate about, we can talk about stuff together. I'll get you guys going in the comments, hopefully. I think it's going to be more beneficial. So yes, that's enough of me waffling on that. Let's get into the subject, which is Facebook gaming. Now, I'm going to post each video of this on my Facebook as well, because my Facebook is essentially dead. You might be wondering, those of you that are watching this based on me posting this on my Facebook, telling you to come watch this on my YouTube, it's a maze, I know. But those of you that are wondering what's going on, and those of you that are on YouTube that are watching this thinking, Simsy hasn't streamed on YouTube in a while, even though he started streaming again, everything's been higgledy-piggledy with me. I kind of want to explain why. Now, little background check. I started streaming originally about 10 months before Call of Duty Black Ops 4 came out. I don't know exactly when that was, but it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Ish. It might be longer. Let me know in the comments, because I can't remember, but I think it was like 5-ish years ago, roughly. When I started streaming, and I didn't start on Blackout, much to a lot of people's kind of think that that's when I started. It was not. When I started personally was before that, and I started streaming at the exact point when Call of Duty World War 2 was the current game, which I think was the game before Black Ops 4, thinking about it anyway. I started streaming that at the point that that game died, and all the people like Swag, yada yada yada, all of them, they all went back to old CODs. So I started streaming World War 2, and I was doing all the 1v1s in the like the pre-game. I don't know if any of you remember that. That was elite. That should be in COD. They should bring that back, in my opinion. But yes, I started streaming them, and I was streaming on YouTube, and I was streaming all the old CODs. To like, I literally streamed like Black Ops 3, World at War. Like, I went back to old gen console and was streaming that on YouTube. I did okay. I mean, I think I peaked at like 30 viewers at that point. And that was like a one-off stream, and I was gassed. I was streaming zombies and shit, and I think I popped off on zombies. That happened. Then I bear in mind that I had a full-time job before that. I left college like a few months early to join the bank. I won't go through my full CV, because maybe that's another discussion for another thing. But yeah, anyway, I had decent jobs, and then I left my last job, which was a new car salesman at Ford, of which I'd had all my money saved up for cars, etc. I'd always had put all my money into cars on previous jobs, because I still lived at home with my parents. So all my money went on cars, because that was my passion. I then joined Ford, got a company car, sold my car, had that money in the bank, got a company car, left Ford, didn't have a car, bought a shit car on the cheap, and then left all my money in the account, which then slowly burnt away whilst I was streaming to like 10 people, getting literally, I think my biggest donor that I ever had at this point. And I remember messaging Molly, like, I forgot my first dono. It was a $10 dono, and obviously that's incredibly generous, but it was the only donor that I ever had, and that was the biggest one I got. And that was over the course of about 10-month period, pretty much. And then Black Ops 4 came out, and I was trying to stream multiplayer, and I hadn't touched Blackout. Then I touched Blackout, I fell in love with it, and it popped off. That's how I started. So I blew up on YouTube. I say blew up, but I mean, for streaming on, I would say in the UK, I was probably the biggest, or one of the biggest, on Blackout on YouTube in the UK. Don't think that's overdoing it. I peaked at 8.7k concurrent viewers. That was my highest viewership that I ever had on a live stream. At one point, I had 8,700 viewers, which was insane. Like, I don't get close to that now. I'm lucky if I get 100. So, like, it's around that sort of mark, was, like, insane. Then I carried on doing that. Played Blackout, loved it. We'll discuss that one. Again, something we can discuss. Blackout versus Warzone. We could do that. I'm down for that. yeah, so I was streaming on YouTube, and then Warzone came out, and viewership just went ooh, across the board for everybody that was big on Blackout, I would say, for the most part, because we then had to compete with all the other streamers that were then playing PC games before, when Blackout was mainly console. Then the whole kind of market boomed at that point. Everybody started streaming. COVID happened, so more people at home, more people started streaming. Viewership just kind of like tanked for a bit, and I had a lot of friends that were on Facebook. A lot of friends. That's a complete lie. I had Y8 and a couple of people that I played with, mainly Y8. I'd always talked about Facebook. Saying it was a good platform, and there was a lot of people know that there was this kind of like people had mentioned, and it's kind of a widely known thing, like you literally Google it, that Facebook streamers, bigger ones, did get a paid contract. I won't get that on YouTube. I got bills. I had to pay for shit, so I thought if I can get to a point where I'm big enough, or I'm successful enough, and I can grow this big enough, maybe I could get that too. So I joined Facebook, obviously on nothing, and this was during COVID. I was just sat there playing solos, etc., etc. on COD, and then it kind of I tried to bring people. I had a bit of a head start because obviously I had 60,000 plus on YouTube at the time subs, and I brought people across. Not everybody was that keen, but people came across, and I got to affiliate or level up, and I was on that for a little bit, and then I ran into Dean, or Average Dad, on solos. He was looking for people to play with. I was still playing solos at the time. He was playing solos, but he was looking for people to play with too. For anyone that somehow doesn't know who Dean is, Dean has about 600,000, 500,000 or something. He's a very big creator on Facebook. We started playing, and at the same time, he'd also played with Matt Laff as well, who was big on Facebook as well. And we started playing together for like a year. COVID happened. We were all getting shitloads of views on Facebook. I got to about 55,000-ish at the time followers pretty quickly. I was probably one of the fastest growing at the time on Facebook. At that point, got offered a partnership, but it wasn't paid for anybody that was going to get. I never got to that point. I actually unknowingly, is that a word? Unknowingly? Okay. Unknowingly, had joined Facebook at the point where they'd actually stopped offering those contracts to people, and they were trying to phase them out. But, I mean, that wasn't the exact reason why I joined. I just needed something to grow on. Do you know what I mean? But obviously that was a big positive to it. So, I didn't know that at the point, but yes, it kind of got to that sort of stage, and then I don't even know how to describe it. Obviously, we had all the I've had fallen out with them, well, not them, but yeah, them. We had some stupid argument, yada yada, it's war on the bridge, etc. But that happened, and Warzone just kind of at that point as well. Like I gained some extra viewers from that, and then Warzone kind of just petered out. Like it just gradually people started to dislike it more and more. Viewership died out as COVID kind of fell off, and people started going back to work, and it all kind of just started going downhill for everybody across the board. Now, some bonus schemes and incentives to kind of be like positive to their partners, which I was getting offered. So I had one in December of 2021, and I'll try and be as transparent about these things as I can, because I know you guys from watching it don't necessarily see it, and none of these things from me talking about it is meant to be douche in any way. I'm just trying to be honest. This is how it is. I was getting on a bonus scheme. I got offered for every new, I think it was for every new supporter that I got, or a member, or if you're on YouTube, it's the same thing, a supporter, a sub, or it's like a paid sub. So it was of like a $5 sub, but for every sub I got given, it basically got doubled or something. I got 10. Was it 20? It was stupid. It was crazy. Like, it was really good. It was like they did it for Christmas. I think it was 20. It was something like that. It was like $20 or something that extra that I would get as a bonus per each sub just for the month of December and January or something like that. So I was obviously sat there like, guys, I've got this insane bonus. Like, do you know what I mean? If you ever wanted to sub, you ever thought about it, it would mean the world to me if you could do it now. That happened. I got to a point where, and there was a tracker for it, right? I got to a point where I think it was about $2,500 in bonus that I was owed. To this day, I've still not been paid that. I didn't get a penny from that, even though I earned it and I was owed it. That never happened. So that was one thing that always started griping me with Facebook. Secondly, a lot of the people that were streaming on Facebook on COD's viewership had started going down. And as I said about people going on COVID, blah, 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 back to work, viewership as a whole had gone down. And more streamers joined Facebook at that point during COVID because they were at home. And they were getting loads of viewers because of that. But they didn't have any viewers before it. And there was a lot of people that were moaning after that kind of boom had gone that they weren't getting algorithm, sorry, I shouldn't use shorter terms. They weren't getting algorithms, so they weren't getting as many views. And they would then moan at Facebook and kind of shit on the platform the whole time. And the whole time it was like that, even though I was owed this money, I didn't get paid it, I was still saying how great a platform is. No other platform realistically at that point had an algorithm like that. In terms of Facebook, and if you don't know this, Facebook kind of worked on a basis that the more reactions or likes or thumbs up you get on a stream or video, a stream in this case, and the more comments you get, the more likely you would get more views. It would push you out more because you've got, in a certain period of time, if you started getting loads of comments and loads of likes, it would boost you out to more people's profiles. Now obviously with the people that started late, they weren't going to get that after COVID because their viewership was just off work. That's kind of how they got their viewers and start in the first place. So everybody was kind of shitting on that. And I kept saying, like, what are these people fucking moaning about Facebook constantly? They're shitting on the platform. It's doing my head in. And I don't like them shit talking on a platform that's doing so much more than everybody else. A lot of them petered off. A lot of them aren't streaming anymore, etc. Things happen. That's fine. It's water under the bridge. But I was always sticking up for Facebook. So I've always tried to be an ambassador of what I was doing. Even though in the back of the mind, they were owing me money. It pissed me off. Is what it is. Carried on going. And then there was all these issues that started gradually happening in terms of things like notifications, payments. That was a big issue for a lot of the streamers that are on Facebook, is that we had a set payment date, right? If you imagine I would imagine a lot of you are in a normal office job. So you've got a basic salary, you're paid the same amount of money each month, give or take a few £100 maybe, but you've got a set day. It's always paid on that day of the month. So you set up your account with all your direct debits, your gas, your electricity, your mortgage, your rent, whatever it may be. You set it up around it so that it fits into your financial schedule. We, on Facebook, was one of the things that, again, it did kind of annoy me, but I would just like see past it. We would get told we would get, I think it was the 5th, we were meant to get paid on the 5th of the month. I think I got paid on the 5th of the month once during a 12-month period. And that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but it's not. That's how bad it was. So I would have, bear in mind, yes, I understand I'm being paid by Facebook. I understand it's a different type of job. But this does pay for my bills, my mortgage, etc., etc. And all that stuff was just like, the amount of times I'm sitting there stressing, going, like, I don't have it. I can't. I'm trying to like move all this like the money around to try and sort it out, my bills and stuff. I just didn't have it. So there was a lot of people that were going through the same thing, and a lot of people that left at that point. So more of Facebook kind of died at that point. There were some big streamers that left because of the payments. That happened. That was another thing. The other things, again, to bear in mind with Facebook is that Facebook is such a big company. Like, it's a billion gazillion pound company. I don't even know how much the number is, but it's one of the biggest companies on the planet, right? There's a lot of dodgy shit that happens with them, as does with a lot of big companies. Like, you'll never understand the internals of it. However, You would think that they... Sorry, I've got something in my eye. I don't want to keep rubbing my eye on this. But there we go. Hopefully it's gone. You would think and expect that a company of that size would run their own streaming platform. When you consider the fact that Amazon own Twitch and run Twitch, their biggest rival, I guess, you would think that Facebook would actively use the streaming platform for more than they did, in the sense that they would manage it themselves, but they didn't. All of the people that were partners with Facebook were managed by a company called Kairos. Kairos is an agency. So there would be people that would join Facebook instantaneously as a partner on a paid contract that has been pushed to them by an agency. They would skip everything else. They'd be headhunted from YouTube, Twitch or whatever on a paid contract. They'd be like, yeah, we'll give you XYZ a month, come stream on Facebook. Again, that didn't happen to me, but that is something that happened. That's something that Kairos was brought in to do on Facebook's behalf. So that happened. And then any other partner that was just made a partner from reaching a certain amount of viewership, like I was, they would manage as well. So every single Facebook partner was managed by this small company called Kairos. Now, I don't want this to come across as shit talking Kairos. It's not. But they struggled to run the stream thing. I think they did anyway. From my experience, it seemed like they struggled to run it. And the reason why I think that is because when you think about the sheer volume and size of Facebook, and you think about all the decisions that they make, Kairos wasn't involved in any of it. So there was all these things that were happening, and things and changes that were happening. So they brought in the Watch app, so you could watch Facebook streaming and stuff on telly, which then later got removed recently. Another reason why Facebook's kind of died. And then that seemingly sometimes still comes back and works. I don't know. But all these kind of decisions, and we'd sit there venting like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we not getting paid on time? Blah, blah, blah. All these, like, why have we not got our bonuses? All this stuff would go to them. And they would try and send off for help, and they'd go to their people that they were meant to speak to. And they're basically fucking speaking. So, you know, like when you phone up a call center and you get the robot and you're sitting there like 10 minutes screaming at the phone, like, fucking do it. I want to speak to a human. That's what it was like, even for them. And that's their agency. And there was just no kind of way for us to talk to Facebook, but we'd have to speak to Kairos, and Kairos would then have to speak to their chain of command, and it just would never really go anywhere. So we'd sit in there, we had a Discord for Kairos, and if you scroll through the Discord, I'm not going to do it on here because obviously it's private stuff, but if you went through that Discord, and if I could show you the Discord, it's just people complaining about Facebook, basically, and Kairos being like, we're trying, and that's pretty much the crux of it. Nothing really ever happened. So it was always kind of out of their reach. So we're never really getting any help and support with any issues, and there was a few issues like notifications weren't going out, people complaining about they used to get algo, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. Again, compiled to people leaving. Yeah, another reason why it's kind of gone downhill. The kind of the main reason why I've decided to talk about this as well is that Kick then came out. So for those of you that don't know, I now stream on Kick. I was multi-streaming on Facebook, Kick, and YouTube. You can't do that when you're a Facebook partner. So a few months back, I think it was about 3 months ago, I handed in my partnership, which you can do as long as they've got 24 hours notice. They will change your settings and stuff on your account. You're then free to stream on anything because you're back to level up, whereas there's no restrictions. You're not like attached to Facebook. I've been posting my Kick streams, my YouTube streams, and my links on Facebook for the past few months, and I've been discussing the fact that I'm streaming on Kick and telling people to actively follow my Kick. Facebook then acted as if I was still a partner and demonetized me on Facebook. Now, at the time, I was earning an income through ad revenue on Facebook, stars, and subs, and that vanished as the moment I got. I don't know if I've kind of skipped a part here. Yeah, so I was I have skipped a part. That didn't vanish yet. I was earning that. I was earning ads on YouTube and occasional donos, although I'll go to YouTube in a minute, and then subs on Kick. So that was how I was earning, was through that avenue. And because I was posting on things like that, Facebook took it upon themselves to demonetize me for mentioning other stuff as if I was still a partner. So I was like, so I still had a contact at Kairos even though I'd left the partnership program. I said, like, what's going on? And they said, well, we can clearly see you're an affiliate or on Level Up. It's nothing to do with us. You'll have to speak to the robots, basically. That didn't go anywhere. Now, I thought it was maybe like a system glitch or something, but it's not. There's so many people, and I mean so many, that have kind of gone the route of multi-streaming, and their Facebooks have been demonetized for posting about other things in terms of like other platforms. There's shitloads. Even Matlaf, for example, that I used to stream with, he's big on Facebook and he can't. So it seems to be that Facebook have now taken a massive dump on us in that sense, and won't let us stream and earn money on their platform anymore because we've gone somewhere else, even though we're not legally tied to anything. Which I don't know if that is legal, but it's their platform, I guess. So I'm not going to sit here and fucking pursue that, but you know what I mean. Like that, there's no point in me streaming now on Facebook. There's no point. I didn't only do it for a job, but I do it for a job. This is what pays my bills. So there's literally no point me streaming on Facebook. I'm not getting anything from it. I can't. The only thing I can get is a Streamlabs dono, but I can get that on Kick. So it's just kind of pointless, because then my viewership goes down if I'm spread across 2 different platforms or 3 different platforms, when I want to kind of raise it on Kick. So that's kind of why I've been on Kick. The other reason, again, with Facebook that people kind of didn't realize is that, or maybe they did, Facebook also introduced Reels, or their version of Shorts or TikToks, or it's their version of that, which they've kind of driven short content and boosted the views on that and reduced it on streams. They've mainly focused on that. That's only seems to be what they cared about. So yeah, so that's why I started a Kick. Now, I was also, as I said, I was also streaming on YouTube too. The reason why I've stopped on YouTube for the time being and that I'm focusing more on video content is, again, the same principle in terms of splitting the viewership on Kick. But on YouTube, on my streams on YouTube, from my experience, it seemed to be the people that were watching were generically, they were watching on their telly, which meant that they weren't really going to comment, which meant that I wouldn't get views on that either. So it was kind of just taking it back again from Kick. So I might as well just do it on Kick only. So I've literally just been streaming Kick only for the past few months. That was never my intention, to be completely honest. And I would still stream on Facebook if I could, or if I could earn on Facebook. But I just think that they've just kind of just taken everything that we've done, and you can sit and say what you want. We earn them more money on ads than they would give us tenfold. I actually dread to think the amount of money that Facebook makes on ads. Like, it's probably well into the billions in a year, or at least well into the hundreds of millions on ads it make each year. And not on me personally, but everybody. Me personally would be great though. And all the kind of like the stars and stuff, if you paid $1 for, so if you paid $1.25 for stars and we got $1 of it, they've then made 25. You think how many people have done that over multiple streams? Like, they've made a lot of our streamers, and they have literally fucked us. So I personally now despise Facebook, because they still owe me well in excess of 2,000 for bonuses, which they refuse to pay. And every time I try and complain about it, I can't get through to anyone. I genuinely spent 3 months every single day on email trails. I've got email trails after email trails of trying to work out what's going on, sending the screenshots of stuff that's been owed and payments, yada yada. I just get nowhere with this company. It's just a complete backward circle. And again, Kairos can't deal with it because they have to speak to the other people. They have to then speak to their robots, and then I end up speaking to the robots for them because I'm just fed up. So Facebook as a whole has just drained me. I think it's drained a lot of people, because there's going to be more and more people that leave it, if haven't already. And Kick has been really great in the sense of the actual main premise of Kick is that it was made or part owned by a streamer called Trainwrecks, and for every sub that we get on Kick, we get 95% of it. So for a $4.99 or $5 sub, you can call it $5 sub, we get $4.77 or something like that of it, which is insane. Like that is really good. There's a lot of money that's being put into it by the main majority stakeholder of it is a company called Stake, ironically, and there's a lot of rumors about the fact that they might be bringing in ads on Kick and paying the streamers very handsomely for it. Has been widely documented as being $16 an hour as a starting figure, which would be insane. Like if we get to that would be actually insane. So that's why I've been on Kick a lot more, as I'm trying to build up my Kick channel, and go from there. I would hope and would love to know your thoughts on if you think I'm doing the right thing, first and foremost, because at the end of the day, without having anybody watching me, I've got no chance at all. I understand that there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to join Kick. There was a lot of people that didn't want to join YouTube. Didn't want to join Facebook. I've been there, I've kind of done that. For me, in my opinion, I think it's the right decision. And I don't think it's fair the way that Facebook have treated me personally, as well as a lot of other people that just can't earn a penny on it, even though they've devoted so many hours of time into their platform. There's a lot that's been going on with it, and I just don't think it's fair. I kind of think I've waffled enough. I think hopefully you can kind of see from my perspective what's gone wrong with the Facebook as a platform. Hopefully you've enjoyed my waffle and have got some comments to kind of discuss on my points. Hopefully you've got a name. Hopefully you're enjoying my Kick. If you're not already following it, it's just Simsy. Same as my YouTube name that you're watching this on. SII1MSSY. Drop it a follow. My next one will be on, my next pod will be about Sneak, I would think, about what happened with Sneak. If you've got any suggestions, then let me know of what you think we could sit and talk about. If you prefer it to be on a live stream, I can, but I think this is the route I want to do it, of just off stream and just chilling and talking. If you hate my voice, I'm sorry. And thanks for watching. Drop a like, drop a comment, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.